Hey, how's it going? So I want to talk about a Mcdsp plugin that I really love called Analog Channel, and specifically the AC101. Very cool, very simple plugin. What it does is it emulates driving a signal through an analog console. What was cool about analog consoles, as opposed to digital, is you can drive them harder and then you start getting a little saturation, then distortion, compression without the digital clipping. So it can be used in a lot of cool ways to get that drive and excitement into a track. And we're going to just listen to the chorus section of this song.
'Cause I just wanna spin you round and round this dance floor, get you drunk on a love like mine. Might wind up and steal a couple kisses, get your digits if I can find the right line. Well, you don't do feelings, then baby, if you're willing, I'ma do my best to change your mind. 'Cause the way you stole my heart out of sight, girl, it ought to be a crime.
All right, cool. So let's dive in here and see a couple of the places that I love to use this thing. So first, I think Analog Channel really shines at summing points, specifically buses. There's magic that happens when you sum tracks together and then process them. It's really the glue that makes a mix come together. And my absolute favorite place to use this plugin is on rhythm guitar buses. Now, right here we have the heavy rhythms, the country heavy rhythms of the song we were just listening to. And let's check them out and see how they sound right now. And what we have going is a left and a right rhythm, a variety of mics on each, going into this rhythm bus, a little bit of touch-up EQ, and the analog channel after that. And so let's play it with it on and kind of see how it's hitting it and what it's doing. Now let's bypass it, so you hear without it. Yeah, I just think this is a fabulous plugin to put on rhythm guitar buses. There is some gain. It's adding a little bit of output volume, but it's doing more than that. It's doing compression, ever so subtle compression, and some saturation. It's just really nice. It's not like putting a compressor on the track. I'm not a big fan of compressors on distorted rhythm guitars because they're essentially a compressed instrument to begin with. Usually when I put a compressor on a track, it's trying to achieve something different, but they rarely make the track to me sound bigger. This makes the rhythm bus sound bigger. Very magical. Let's see another use of it. I'm just going to scroll down through the session and see what we have going on. All right, I think, let me see. This is a guitar overdub. Let me just remind myself what this one is doing. Okay, it's sort of grindy country thing. Again, it's got some filter bank doing a little touch-up EQ. And then our analog channel again. Let's see what the analog channel is doing. I'm just going to toggle it on and off so you can hear what it's doing. Let's start with it on. Now here's an example. I'm barely doing any gain reduction. I mean, what is that, a dB at the most? But there's a feel. Sometimes to me, certain pieces of gear and certain plugins just have a feel, and you find the sweet spot for that piece of equipment or plugin, and it adds something. Everything is better with it, and this is where this plugin really shines. Now let's just take a quick second to explain some of the controls. You have your input and output, and this is a great function. This is an auto out control. It basically keeps the output gain at a certain level. So while you're messing with your input and drive, it maintains a steady output level. And that's great because you're not fooling yourself with volume changes about whether it sounds great or not. You're really hearing how the plugin is affecting the signal at a steady output volume. So you can really dial in sweet spots. So you got your drive, which is pretty much what you think it would be. It just drives it harder. The curve is sort of like a compression curve. You know, you turn it up more, you get a harder curve. Attack and release times, very similar to compressors. The only thing that you notice is that there's no threshold. That's where it's not like a compressor, because basically it's always on, and it's just how hard you hit it and how far you have the curve turned up is how much you get. So let's go down and look for another example. Okay, so here I see I'm putting it on the background vocal track, background vocal bus. Not a lot of vocals in comparison to some things I've done in the past. Just a lead vocal, 3 background tracks, a double, 2 harmonies. The double and the 2 harmonies go to the background bus. Let's just listen to the vocals hold up a second, and then we'll see what's going on here.
Wanna spin you round and round this dance floor, get you drunk on a love like mine.
It's actually a little wetter than I normally would have it, but it's because I want to show you something in a second with the effects send. So turn off the lead vocal. Just listen to the background bus. We can see again, I have filter bank going. We have this time some compressor bank sort of doing an LA2A kind of thing. And then again, our analog channel.
Spin you round and round this dance floor, get you drunk on a love like mine. Spin you round and round this dance floor, get you drunk on a love like mine.
Again, just a touch of compression. It's a very subtle thing, probably adding a little bit of harmonic content, and just makes it a little bit better. So let's scroll down. Oh, and one of the last things I wanted to show you. This is something I started doing a few years ago. I like putting analog channel in front of my effects bus. You know, I have, if you look down here, you know, this is a pretty standard setup. I have, 4 or 5 different reverbs, echoes, and I'll generally put analog channel before whatever effect it is. And what it does is it lets you drive the input to the effect a different way. Because as I raise the send, instead of just getting more effect, I can also start getting a little more of a saturated, distorted tone to feed the effect, which is a whole different feel. Let me show you an example of that. Okay.
Spin you round and round this dance floor, get you drunk on a love like mine. Spin you round and round this dance floor, get you drunk on a love like mine.
You can see we're really starting to hit the analog channel harder. It's adding a lot of coloration to the sound that's going to the effect. Very different animal than if I remove the analog channel and turn up the effect send.
Spin you round and round this dance floor, get you drunk on a love like mine. My wind up.
See, in that case, of course, we get more effect. But the other way to me is very musical in that harmonic content really makes the effect fatter and can do more cool things with it. So that's something just to play around with. It takes a little bit of fooling to get the right gain structure for the input of the effect unit you're doing, and how far you want to be turning up your effect send to how hard it's going to hit that. But you just mess with it and get a place that feels good. And the next thing you know, you can really ride this in places and really have a lot of emotion come through your effect send. So these are just some cool things that I like doing analog channel. It has been on every session I've done forever, and it will continue to be there. So would love you guys to email me. I love talking about this stuff. If you have any questions, go ahead, shoot them my way. And check out all this Mcdsp stuff. These guys are great. They've been around since the beginning, and you can count. You can count on their plugins. They sound great. They're reliable, and it's a great company to deal with. So anyway, have a good one. You know what? I'm going to go back and listen to some more Morgan.
I just wanna spin you round.